if the Patriots are going to go out and they're going to sign a big ticket free agent, my understanding is that it's going to be at the wide receiver position. And this is something that has been a lingering issue for New England. We've talked about it several times, and it continues to consistently creep up on them that they just don't have the high-end receiver talent that some of these other teams do. They got the complimentary guys. They got the Kendrick Bournes. They got the Jacoby Myers. They got Hunter Henry, but they don't have that number one guy. And I would also mention that not only have I heard that the Patriots have been linked to some of those top free agent wide receivers that we'll get to in a second, I've also heard that they've been linked to lower end guys that are more role players that can fit into specific roles into the offense. And I think the ultimate goal here for New England is they truly feel internally like they are not that far away on offense. I think they feel like they're returning basically 10 out of 11 starters if you want to count Mike Onwenu as a starter on the offensive line. So they have to plug one hole on the offensive line. They have to figure out what they're going to do with pass catching back, whether it's just status quo with Brandon Bolden and James White, or they're going a little bit outside the box on that thing. And they also need that number one star wide receiver to be the cherry on top. Allen Robinson is a legitimate possibility for the Patriots this offseason. They wanted to sign him last offseason. He didn't end up hitting the open market. He was franchise tagged by the Chicago Bears. They're gearing up to make another run at him again this offseason. Depends on who you ask in terms of his market. Some people think he's going to come down a little bit below market value just because he wasn't as good last year in Chicago and dealt with some injuries, whereas other people think he can be worth up to $20 million a year. Right. So there's a wide range of opinions on exactly what Allen Robinson's going to get paid. But I think the overall consensus is that somebody like Allen Robinson is going to be squarely on New England's radar going into free agency. And they would like to upgrade that Nelson Aguilar spot and bring in somebody who's a better player than that.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say to that, and you talk about what his market's going to be. Most people think it'll be lower. A couple people think it'll be higher. All it takes is one team to think it's higher, right? All it takes is if 31 teams think he's worth $10 million a year and one other team thinks he's worth $20 million a year, well, then he's worth $20 million a year because that's what one team is going to pay and that's where he's going to go. So that's why his case is an interesting one to me, because it really is a case of he had such a drop off last year.
Right.
And I talked about this on Tuesday and I said it kind of gave me pause and red flags because the production was so low. I went back and I watched some more Chicago Bears since that show, and it wasn't entirely him. It definitely wasn't.
You're coming around to it. I like it.
I don't think he was great last year. I also just wonder if I don't want to say he was dogging it. Like that's not the right way to put it, but it's just, I think it was so hard to compete in that offense because it was, nobody else is getting the ball.
So here's the pitch if you're the Patriots, right? Allen Robinson, his whole career, whether it was in Jacksonville or it was in Chicago, he's got a revolving door at quarterback. He's got a revolving door at head coach, different OCs in and out, different playbooks in and out. He's going to have better options in terms of quarterback play than Mac Jones. That's no slight on Mac Jones. I just mean the teams at the top of the market that are going to be at the front of the line for Allen Robinson. He might have a call from Kansas City, right? So I'm saying that these teams that have Patrick Mahomes level quarterbacks, those guys are also going to be vying for Allen Robinson as well. So I'm not trying to take a shot at Mac. I'm just saying the best of the best are going to be after a guy like Allen Robinson. So with that being said, he might have a better quarterback that he could potentially go play for, but he's not going to have a more stable organization, I would say, in a lot of ways. He's going to know that the playbook's going to stay the same, the quarterback's going to stay the same, and the head coach is going to stay the same. And that's something that I think the Patriots will sell Robinson on, along with the fact that they can show him their offense and say, we put you with Bourne, with Myers, with Henry, with the running game that we have. Mac's going to take a year or two leap in his second season in the NFL, and you are the final piece to the puzzle. We're going to drop you in, and it's going to be like when the Bills acquired Stephon Diggs, and everything just came together for Buffalo, right? So that's the pitch for Allen Robinson. The question is, at this stage, does he prioritize playing with a marquee quarterback so highly because of what he's gone through in his career when he's playing with Blake Bortles and he's playing with Andy Dalton in the end of his career and all these types of things, that it's not enough of a pitch for the Patriots. But I do think that they're going to come in strong after Allen Robinson, and I think it would be worth it. I think he's a player that, no, he's not a burner over the top, but I don't know if the Patriots necessarily thrive with guys like that, right? I think that the guy
not in that role
they usually get the best production out of are people that are detailed and route running oriented and have some contested catchability and ability to win down the field in that sense with his size. And I think Allen Robinson checks a lot of those boxes. This is a guy that's been one of the best route runners, inside, outside versatility, all those types of things in the National Football League for this decade, right? He's really one of the top technicians that the league has seen over the last 10 years. So I'm not super, super high on it. Like, oh, I think that they're going to win the Super Bowl if they sign Allen Robinson. I wouldn't go there. But I think that this is, out of all the options that are on the market, this is 100% the best outcome for the Patriots.
Yeah, again, I think it goes back to you talked about, well, is he going to want to play with a premium quarterback? Compared to the guys he's played with, he may think Mac Jones a premium quarterback. Let's not roll that out. But again, the problem is everything you just said fits. It's just, you have to hope if you're the Patriots, teams look at the tape last year and are scared off.
Yeah.
Because again, all it takes is one team to say, yeah, he sucked last year, but man, he 1,000-yard receiver, all of that.
Right.
In
last year,
Mitchell Trubisky in 2020.
Yeah, you can definitely make the take that last year was the anomaly of Allen Robinson's career, not the norm.
That's right, but you need teams to believe. That's the thing. I wonder if one team is going to say, it only takes one team to say, yeah, well, he was so good in 2020, we don't care. And then the question is, because again, I think Robinson, in theory, right, if you're going off of last year was the anomaly, if this is what the Patriots believe, that if they really believe that, he's so far above everybody else on the market outside of maybe Amari Cooper, are the Patriots willing to get in a bidding war for him? Or are they going to go value and say, no, we'll take our business to Robbie Anderson, or we'll take our business to whoever, right? So I wonder if they see enough that they would be willing to get in a bidding war for him, because it seems like if you like Allen Robinson, that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I think ultimately what the goal is here for New England is, like I broke it down earlier, they have those 3 holes. They need to fill a spot on the offensive line. They need to shore up third down running back, receiving back, and they needed a number 1 wide receiver, right? Those are the 3 holes on the offensive side of the football. And those 3 holes, I think, are easily filled through the veteran market. Whereas the issues that they have on defense, I think, are much harder to fill with free agents giving their cap situation, because they aren't going to pay a corner at the top of the market. And they're not going to pay another pass rusher after paying Judon last year. So, or a off-ball linebacker, not really where the value is in free agency for inside linebackers. So allowing wide receiver to check that box. You get Allen Robinson, you get somebody of that ilk, and checking that box in free agency then allows you to go to the draft and draft defense right off the top of the draft. Get your corner, get another linebacker, get another impact player in the front 7, and go balls to the wall on defense. And I think when you look at the class, I mean, we've talked about the draft as much as anybody. When you look at how great of a class this is on defense, defensive line, linebacker, all these positions are loaded. I think the corner is maybe the weakest of all the defensive positions, but maybe safety. Yeah, defensive back is weaker than the front 7 prospects, but there's still plenty of options there for them. Thanks for watching our content of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Please subscribe to my podcast, Patriots Beat, on our YouTube channel, Patriots Press Pass, or wherever you get your podcasts, for a lot more exclusive content right here on the CLNS Media Network.